Welcome to the Feed Your Soul with Kim podcast. Today we're talking about how you can tell if you're really hungry. Recently we had an anti-diet revolution where we started looking at many different components that help us move out of dieting and into having peace with food. One of the most important questions I get is, am I really hungry? Today in the podcast, we'll talk about how do you know when to eat if you're not dieting? How do you determine your hunger? And use the Am I Hungry log to determine your hunger. Let's get started. So today we are in day 2 of the Anti-Diet Revolution Challenge. And this is the second day we did yesterday. We were in yesterday and had day 1. We talked about the diet mindset, which was super helpful. It made me really think about my history of dieting. I don't know how it was for all of you. I'd love to have you share what it was like for you to have this happen. It really made me look at, I've been about 4 diets in my lifetime. And I've done them all many, many times over and over again. It's interesting when I hear people talk about the diets that they've been on, and they've been on many, many, many diets. Me, it's just been the same diet over and over and over again. So who am I? I'm Kim McLaughlin. I'm a psychotherapist, a coach, podcaster, best-selling author, speaker, and former very long time dieter of about 4 different diets that I tried over and over again. I'll have to do a podcast on I do a podcast called Feed Your Soul with Kim podcast. And I have talked a little bit about some of the diets, but I think I have to do a podcast on just my diets and history, because it really opens up the idea of why diets don't work. When you look at your diets and what's happened with them, it really plants in my brain that they don't work. So today we are moving forward on the Anti-Diet Revolution Challenge. It is 4 days plus an extra day of a bonus. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we are meeting together to talk about different aspects of dieting and how to move off of dieting. I am so excited for today because what we're going to talk about is intuitive eating, which is the way to move off of dieting. So yesterday we talked about diets, why diets don't work. I gave you the opportunity to do some work and look at what your dieting history has been and how has that worked for you and how has it not worked for you. And if you sign up below at the end, I'll put the link in where you can get access to the PDFs, questionnaire, so you can learn more about this for yourself. So today we're talking about intuitive eating, and it's really the way to get off that diet roller coaster. What I do is I use intuitive eating is a researched methodology to help you move out of dieting and have peace with food and peace with your body. What we want to do is, for me, in my program, I do emotional eating solutions, is the way I help people focus on intuitive eating. And we focus on 6 components. We focus on the physical, emotional, mental, lifestyle, which is the social aspect, mindfulness, and self-love. When we look at all 6 components, we look at each one alone, we look at each one together and how they really create this blend of when we're challenged, they're off. And when they're working together, they blend really, really well. And you kind of hit that sweet spot, so to speak, of having them all work together. This is why diets don't work, because there are all of these components that interact with each other that is part of what makes diets not work, is because they focus on the food and on deprivation rather than on what really is going on, which are these 6 components that I like to talk about with people. So when we move into intuitive eating, one of the first places I like to start, because we talked about dieting and moving off of dieting, and the first place I like to start talking about once we talk about moving off of dieting is moving into being in touch with your body. And that is that physical component. Part of the physical component is being in touch with our body. When we have been overeating, binging, compulsively eating, dieting, we have been out of touch with our body in that physical manner. I think of it like being outside of your body, looking down and not feeling really connected to your body and what's going on. And when we focus on being in that diet mindset, we're really told when to eat, how much to eat, what type of food to eat, what combination or lack of combination. And really it's, as I think back on the diets I've had, they really tell me eat this kind of food or this kind of food or this kind of food, eat this much. Once you're done with the amount of food you're supposed to have, you should stop, even though you might be hungry. So it tells you what to do rather than your body. Think about when you were a child, when you were little, or think about your children or nieces and nephews or children that they know when they're hungry. Babies cry when they're hungry and they need to eat, and they need to eat now. They need to have something, and they don't eat beyond their fullness. They'll close up their mouths when they're done. So there is this physicalness that we had when we were little. We all had it until we didn't. And then life started happening. Ideas about diet started happening. Maybe our bodies started to get larger than other people thought it should get. We would overeat. We wouldn't move our bodies. And so we became out of touch with our bodies and out of touch with when we're hungry and when we're full. Those are two primary things that happens. So what I want to talk to you about today, there's so much more that goes into that. If we go back here, that physical component, there's so much that goes into that. We can't get into everything, but I want you to come away with a doable today that's going to feel doable, right? That like you literally could get that done today. Once we're done with this call, you could start doing this now. And that's about getting in touch with that physical component. And one of the pieces of the physical component is to start looking at how hungry are you? How hungry are you? And how do you measure it? Because we lost how to measure our hunger cues a long time ago. I lost that hunger cue when I was 8, 9. I stopped noticing when I was hungry and I just ate. And I ate sweeter things. I ate things. I just ate. And I remember feeling really obsessed with food and not having any kind of idea about food being fuel, food helping my body. What was going on? Nobody asked the question, Kim, what's going on? You're eating a lot, or you're having trouble. What's going on? What happened for me is my parents got divorced. It's clearly emotional. Started happening when I was about 8 years old, where I began to be obsessed about food. My parents were going through a divorce, and I started to overeat. We never talked about the divorce. We never talked about my dad being gone. We never talked about it. And I don't say that to criticize. I say that as just information. Because what happened for me is I began to get out of touch with my body, and food became a way for me to feel good. And if I'm using food to feel good, I'm not monitoring or noticing when I'm hungry and when I'm full. So this then compiles over years and years and years and years where I still don't know. Well, I used to not know when I'm hungry and full. A starting spot, I always say the starting spot to eating is, are you hungry? And people go, well, hunger, what's that? I don't know if I'm hungry. What does hunger have to do with it? If it's 12 o'clock, I'm supposed to eat. If it's 7 o'clock, I'm supposed to eat. And I'm supposed to eat this much food. I'm supposed to eat these things. And to be in touch with your body then is your body drives. Your body drives when you eat and when you stop. Isn't that a radical idea? That so goes against that diet mindset of we tell you when to eat. We tell you what to eat. We tell you what you shouldn't eat, what you can't eat, what's bad food, what's good food. And then it gets all messed up about, what does my body actually want? what would be good for me right now, and checking in. So we've lost that measurement of hunger. And this is what I want to work with you on while we're doing this challenge is how do we get back? How do we get back that idea of when am I hungry? So to me, measuring hunger is critical to start being able to notice hunger. You got to start measuring it. And so I do it on a 1 to 10 scale. It's how I like to do it. I see it as a 5. If you look at the scale, 5 is satiated. 5 is I'm not too hungry. I'm not too full. I'm just kind of fine. And if you move to the 4 is starting to be hungry. 3 is hungry. 2 is overly hungry. And 1 is extreme hunger. And then you move into fullness after this being satiated. A 6 is full, 7 is fuller, and 8 is overly full. 10 is too full, and 9 is too full, 10 is extremely full. Where I see it working best is starting to eat when you're physically at a 3 or a 4 and stopping eating when you're physically at a 6 or a 7. So this is how we start looking at it. And it really takes time to start noticing it because we've been so disconnected to our body. Okay, so you get the idea of 1 to 10, start eating at a 3 or a 4, stop eating at a 6 or a 7. So we're going to start noticing how hungry are we. And I think one of the best ways to do that is a log. And I use with my clients, I use what's called a food mood log. But we're going to just do for this purpose, because we only have a little bit of time together, is we're going to do an am I hungry log. And it's the best way to start determining what your body really needs. It's a starting spot to looking at hunger. And it's your time to start being the detective to determine what is really going on. And for anybody that wants to do the food mood or the am I hungry log, it'll be in the email. If you're not signed up you might be watching and not signed up for all the emails connected to this, I'll send you the log. If you sign up, it'll be in the link in the comments after we're done today. How do we start noticing, are we hungry? Am I hungry? And it's really an internal starting spot. And it means one of the things I like to do, and I do with my clients, is taking a deep breath in and out and just start going inside. This is that one of the 5 or 6 components we have is mindfulness. And it's dropping into the inside of your body and noticing, how hungry are you? Me right now, I am at a 4 moving into a 3. As I often tell you, I don't like to eat before I do a talk. So I'll eat right afterwards. And so I'm a 4 moving into a 3. When we're done, I'll need to eat because I'm hungry, because I'm going into being hungry. And what we know is that if we get into the 1 or 2 areas of hunger, we then overeat. If we wait too long, we overeat and then go into the 8, 9, 10 of fullness. We get too full. So we want to kind of start finding the sweet spot, and everybody's individual. And it becomes starting to notice, what are my cues that I'm hungry? And for me right now, my tummy's a little grumbly, and I'm just feeling like it's getting about time I need to start eating. This is where we start getting connected. And one of the best ways to do that, to get connected, is to take a deep breath and kind of ask your body. This is what I do, is like, well, where am I at with my hunger? What is my hunger at? Am I satiated? Am I a little hungry? Kind of hungry, overly hungry, extremely hungry? Where am I? It's a great starting spot. Am I hungry is the first question to start determining your hunger. So what do? Take a deep breath and get in touch with your body. Use that hunger on a 10 scale to determine how hungry you are. Keep track hourly. This is what I recommend as you're going to start doing this, is to just check in on the hour. 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whenever you wake up. How hungry am I right now? Where am I at? 7 o'clock, how hungry am I? 8 o'clock, how hungry am I? It starts you getting in the mindset of just notice how hungry you are. And when you're at a 3 or a 4, it's time to have something. In our program, Emotional Eating Solutions, we talk more about noticing hunger and then what to eat, how to walk through how you determine what to eat. Because once again, when we've been on a diet, we've been told what to eat, when to eat, how much to, and it can be really scary to start having somebody say, you get to be in charge. Is like, how do I do that? Well, that's what I'm walking you through. Is one of the steps is to start noticing your hunger. So you start tracking your hunger, start noticing it. The other way to do it, you could do it on your phone, and every hour put in your calendar, put, at 7:00, I'm at a 5, at 8:00, I'm at a 3. Then you eat, right? And then at 9:00, I'm at a 5, or a 6, whatever it is. And you start noticing. What'll happen is then you start noticing your pattern throughout the day. This is what I like to work on with my clients, is to start noticing what is your pattern of when you're there is a pattern of when you're hungry and kind of when your body needs things. And this is really important because it gets you back in touch with your body. The other thing that we won't have time to talk about in this challenge is how to stop when you're satisfied, when you're at a satisfied, a full, slightly full. So you stop at a 6 or 7. What I find too is people will say, I'm supposed to stop when I'm full. Like, how do I know that? Well, that's what we need to deal with. Start focusing on how can you be in your body to notice your fullness. And this takes strategies and steps and understanding what gets in the way of you recognizing when you're full. So this is how we move out of dieting, right? This is how we intuitively eat and don't rely on outside sources. Our body tells us. And this is one of the many reasons diets don't work, is because you don't have a way of looking at what's going on inside of my body. What do I need? What's working? What food works for me? What doesn't work for me? What leads me to overeat? What leads me to eat past full? So I want you to start looking at, when am I hungry? When am I full? Using that 1 to 10 scale. And once again, if you sign up for the challenge, you'll get an email with a PDF that will show you all these numbers that we're talking about so that you can have it right at hand and you can write in the log yourself. And so just start noticing it. And notice every hour, what is your level of hunger and what is your level of fullness? And just number it every hour to start paying attention. If it's at a 3 or a 4, a 1, well, a 3 or 4, you eat. If it's at a 1 or a 2, you're really, really hungry and you better eat. So start noticing this. This is not about being judgmental. This is not about saying that you're wrong or bad if you overeat or undereat or follow some kind of plan. It's about starting to notice what is going on in your body. What is going on in your body? This is the Am I Hungry log that how I worked it out is every hour you start writing down how hungry are you. So if you see, this is just an example. So at 7 a.m., you might be at a 3. And so you eat. And then at 8, you're 5, you're satiated. 9, you're satiated. At 10 o'clock, you're starting to get hungry. And so you eat something. And then at 11, you're at a 5, you're satiated. So the log I have for my clients is hunger. And then you measure your fullness at the end. I don't want to make this complicated. So we're just going to do, how hungry am I? But this is the log you can get if you sign up for this challenge. It is really helpful to start writing it down. You can put it, I have my my paper calendar here. I mean, you could just put it alongside of each of the hours and you could just write it down. I'm at a 5 at 8 o'clock. I'm at a 4 at 9, 10, and then I eat. And then at 10, I'm at a 5 or a 6, right? And so you can put it in your calendar, but find a way to keep track of it, because this will give you information about when are you hungry. Starting spot to eating is, am I hungry? We have been trained to not pay attention. As we move forward in the rest of this challenge, we're going to talk more about things that make it hard for us to notice when we're hungry. And so we're going to talk about this more in depth, but let's just do first things first and get back in touch with our body. One of the things I've been talking about is that when we want to move off of dieting, we don't know what to do. I remember that was my thought, move off of dieting. Like, what am I supposed to do if I don't diet? I have a program and I wanted to offer it to all of you because I don't think it's fair for me to talk about moving off of dieting without giving you an idea about what to do and what could work and to help hold your hand to get through this. Emotional Eating Solutions is my 8-week do-it-yourself course, and it is a time to start thinking about what can help you. We're talking about different ideas about what you can do, and this is Emotional Eating Solutions is our signature program to help you move out of overeating and into a place of peace with food. You can go to my website, feedyoursoulunlimited.com, and click on the Emotional Eating Solutions. It's $297. It is an 8-week course. And what's really good about it is that we have a monthly Q&A call where I take your questions live with me. So you can ask me questions about what is going on, and I can help you strategize and understand what's going on for you. The second thing is we're going to start in March having a live round of it. I haven't done a live round of Emotional Eating Solutions in like 2 years. So I'm really excited to offer up some new information, make some new videos, have people on so you can really get more in depth. The nice thing about Emotional Eating Solutions is you can get it now, get started on it, and then go with us in the live round come March. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be really good and really helpful to move out of dieting and move into a place of peace with food, peace with your body. Feed Your Soul Unlimited website if you're interested. Lastly, that's a lot of information. Lastly, I want to thank you for joining us. And I would love to hear what you're learning from this challenge, what's coming up for you, what you're getting, what are your takeaways. You can email me at info@feedyoursoulunlimited.com. That would be a great way for you to get in touch with me. You can also put a note in the comments in Facebook. You can direct message me. I would love to hear what you're getting from this. This is courage. It takes courage to think about how to do food differently and how to not engage in diets, because diets are so much a part of our community. They're such a part of our society, and it really has been the only option. And I want to give you a different option, because if diets worked, it wouldn't be a $70 billion industry and growing, because they make more and more money every year, which tells me they don't work just by the amount of money that they make, and that it grows larger and larger. And by the fact I have been on a few diets over and over and over again, expecting a different result, and I didn't get that result. With intuitive eating, I've gotten freedom with food in a way that really feels like a blessing. It just feels so good. So I thank you guys for coming today. Really look at am I hungry? Just start wondering, am I hungry throughout the day? Am I hungry? Do it on the hour would be probably the easiest. Set an alert on your phone, set an alert to say, am I hungry? Every hour. And just start noticing where you're at. We're going to talk more about some other things tomorrow about emotions and food freedom. And I'm Kim McLaughlin. I'm from Feed Your Soul Unlimited. I'm so glad you're taking part of this challenge. We'll do day 3 tomorrow. We have more super important, helpful information to get to you. And we're just going to have that anti-diet revolution together. Bye, you guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow.